You're watching Tick Tech Know, Technology Integration Coach Tech Tips to Know. Alright, today on Tick Tech Know we're going to take a look at how to make charts that show just the information I want in Microsoft Excel. Alright, so here I have a chart that has kind of mixed amounts of data. I'm very careful that when I put in numbers that I don't put in the units, because if I put the units in, then Excel doesn't know what to do with them and it won't let me make a graph. And that's what I want. I want a graph, or what Excel calls a chart. To do that, I'm going to need to make sure that I don't put the units in down here with the numbers. I can put them in the header so I remember, oh, that's talking about millibars, or this one's mentioning inches, or this one is degrees Fahrenheit. That way I can separate from the anecdotal things here, because the anecdotal won't make a chart or a graph. And that's what we're after today. We're after how do I make sure I get a graph when I have this kind of mixed kind of data in one place. So what I want to do is I want to highlight the pieces I wish to use, and in this case I'm going to highlight these first two rows here. So first two columns, 3 columns here, and I want to make a graph out of these things. Now again, they call them charts instead of graphs. So I'll click here, I'll click column, and I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to make this one go this way. Now right now this is pretty much showing me what I want to see. I'm wanting to see the days of the week go across here and the numbers go up the side, but I've got this extra thing, and even though I know there's more difference here than I'm able to see easily on this, it's because I've got this extra thing that I can't really get rid of. So how do I get rid of this piece that I know is just a text boxes that give me some anecdotal data? How do I get that out of my chart? Well, it's actually pretty easy. I'm going to go over here in Chart Layout, which is one of the tabs that shows up once I actually get a chart and I click on this chart. And I am looking for, nope, sorry, going to Format. I'll go to Chart Layout in just a minute. So I'm going to Charts, Chart Layout, and Chart Format. And I'm going to choose Select. Now if I go here to Select, it's got a lot of crazy stuff that I don't really need to know what it means, but I do have this over here. Notice these are my labels for my different columns. This is air pressure rising or falling, and this is the air pressure in millibars. I don't need this, so I'm going to click, make sure that one's selected, and choose Remove. And when I do, and I click OK, now I have a lot more difference in these columns because it changed the range from 0 to 1000 to 980. So there's a lot more difference in each of these because I'm only comparing one thing. And because I'm only comparing one thing, it also took that and made that the chart title, which is nice and handy, and I like that. Now, let's say I also want to include, I want to get, for these same days, I want to make another graph or chart that has these high and low temperatures along with the precipitation. Well, same thing, I'm going to select all of this and then get rid of the part I don't need. Okay, so I selected all of those columns from A2 all the way to F2 and down to row 7. A7 through F7. So this whole square here, again, I have some anecdotal data, I have some data I don't want to include because I've already got a bar graph for that one. I don't want to put that in another bar graph with the others. I'm going to click on column, and again, keeping it simple. Now I've got a little bit of a problem because it did something weird. It did something I didn't want to. See, last time it gave me the days of the week across the bottom, and I liked that. This time it gives me the column headings as the labels and puts the other days of the week as a legend. I don't want that one. So the way I get rid of that is to go up here in the chart and look for switch plot. So I'm going to click this button here to switch plot, and now my days of the week are across the bottom. That's where I want them. And now I'm going to go back what I did before, where I got rid of the extra data I don't need and use the select, and I'm going to remove rows that I don't want. I'm going to remove that rising or falling because that's just text. I'm going to remove this millibars because those numbers in millibars are so much more humongous than the ones I have for my others, that it really is making hard to see all the other data that's in here that I really want to take a good look at. So I'm going to remove that one. That's why I put that in its own little chart. That's a little better. But I may even remove precipitation because, again, there's not a whole lot of difference in precipitation. It's kind of hard to read, so I'm going to remove that one as well and click OK. Now I've got this that gives me the purple is showing the high of the day and the blue is showing the low. I would like to add a title because that one gave me a title when I made that one. I need a title for this as well. So I'm going to click up here where I said chart layout, and this time I'm going to chart title, and I want the title to be above the chart. And there it is. Double click in here and daily highs and lows. Again, I could come back here and make one more just for precipitation, but for right now I'm going to leave it at that because I like that one because I'm comparing. I can see my the highest or lowest pressure for that day that's in here, and I pulled out my data for my temperatures, and I've got to make that a whole lot more readable and easier to discern what's going on, what trends I see, and it makes it more usable for me as someone who needs to look at the data, and also for my students. And that is how to use one table or chart to make a chart or graph that looks the way you need to help understand what's going on. Hope that helps.